Are you licking the couch again? You like to lick the couch, don't you, honey? Okay, so Democracy Forward did a FOIA request for the turnover of the Epstein files, and it talked about that maybe Pam Bondi's administration, all the flip-flops and the reversing of their opinions and their stance and their whole place about the files. She had them on the desk, she didn't have them on the desk. There was absolutely no credible evidence to go forward with any investigation, Patel said. And then suddenly, oh, now we're going to investigate the Democrats. So this landed on guess whose desk? Judge Tanya Chutkan of Washington, D.C. Judge Tanya Chutkan was the judge who was fortunate enough to get election subversion case dropped on her court bench of all the benches in the world. Yeah, it was hers. She was the one that had to deal with, the fucking claims of immunity, and then nobody could believe it when the Supreme Court actually granted it, and then, she never got to fulfill the end of that case. She never got to see that case through, as we all know, because the charges were dropped. They can be brought again, but they were dropped. Now, Judge Chutkan has ordered, because of Democracy Forward's incredibly fulsome and detailed filing, she now has ordered that all records reflecting communications between the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, that's Todd Blanche, the Associate Attorney General, Stan Woodward, and or Emile Beauvais, and senior aides regarding the Jeffrey Epstein matter, all records reflecting communications between the FBI director and those in his inner circle about the Epstein matter. All records reflecting directives, guidance, and instructions provided by the FBI leadership to FBI personnel who were doing the review. That's those 1,000 FBI agents. The only documents, and any and all documents between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, even if they're going to be withheld by Pam Bondi for these bunk investigations, doesn't matter. Judge Chutkan said, release them. Doesn't matter. Or the new bill that just got signed into law. This judge has ordered them to be produced. Democracy Forward, who will then make them public. It was on page 12 of her ruling, says that there is a chance that the Department of Justice has no integrity. Possible questions about the government's integrity. Page 12. Democracy Forward is also established in this widespread media coverage raises possible questions about the government's integrity that affect public confidence. The primary way to determine whether such possible questions exist is by examining public coverage. Democracy Forward is on page 13 of the filing has cleared this bar, as its submission to the Department of Justice showed prominent outlets have reported that the department's change in position has generated widespread controversy, which it has, right? I mean, that it has undermined public trust. And it goes through all that coverage, and the only thing that she's not granting are the flight logs. Other than the flight logs, everything else that I just said is being forced, compelled to be sent over by the Department of Justice and the FBI over to Democracy Forward. So, and on page 14, she summarizes it this way. The court is largely satisfied that Democracy Forward's FOIA requests are closely related to the department's handling of the Epstein files. The request for records reflecting all correspondence between Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein is plainly tied to the concern discussed in the media that the Justice Department reversed its position on the disclosure of the documents only after Attorney General Bondi reportedly informed the president that his name appeared in the files. So you need to turn it over on a summary judgment. Yeah. Now, so what's Pam Bondi going to do? She's going to claim that there's an active investigation going on. That she started up in New York, Southern District of New York, acting U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton. She'd love to release the files, but she just can't release them because of that. And I'm sure she'll also claim that they're privileged. She'll also claim the attorney work product and litigation privilege and all that other shit. She will take this up on appeal to the 3-judge panel of the D.C. Circuit Court and ultimately to the United States Supreme Court. But the federal judges need to do their job the way Judge Chutkan just did her job there. If there's a summary judgment to be granted, you fucking grant it. You don't worry about the appeal. You don't worry about the summary judgment. I'm sorry. You don't worry about the Supreme Court. You just do your job as a trial judge. You do. And that's exactly what we just saw out of Judge Chutkan. So the headline is, Judge Chutkan has just ordered that the correspondence between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein be produced ASAP on a summary judgment. They can now take up their appeals. They can now argue what they're going to do, or if there's an active investigation, criminal investigation, but let them make those arguments to the Court of Appeals. Make their record and then take it up, if they can, on an emergency application to the United States Supreme Court. Let them weigh in on the Epstein matter. I mean, they only weighed in once. They denied the appeal once and for all for Ghislaine Maxwell. They didn't want to even pick that up. So let's see. I mean, they didn't want to touch that one child sex trafficker, let alone what are they going to do about this huge trafficking ring. So let's just see what happens. The procedural history here is all good. Judge Chutkan is a fucking hero, and every single federal judge needs to be doing their job just like that. Thank you also to Popak for breaking this a little earlier. Love you, Michael Popak. Thank you for watching my videos.